Welcome back students. I am your geography teacher Vandana Joshi and you are watching SST June. Students, till now we have studied about the oceanic water, its horizontal and the vertical movement, the temperature of ocean and the oceanic salinity. So today we are going to study another new topic under the main topic water, oceanic water, in which we will study about the different type of movements in the oceanic water. So students, generally the movement of oceanic water it is categorized into three types. So there are total three types which are our main topics under this major topic water ocean. So what are these three movement of oceanic water? So first of all, the first movement is known as the waves. So it will be our first topic. Second is tide. So it will be our second topic. Then the third one is ocean currents. So the ocean current is our third topic of this oceanic water. So first of all, under the waves, what we will study? What are the waves and what are the characteristics of the waves? And under the topic of tides, we will study about the tides, type of tides and what are the importance of the tides, as the tides are very important for the human beings since the past. So that also we will study in the topic tide, and then later we will study about the ocean currents. As we know, there are two types of oceanic currents, that these are the warm currents and the cold currents. So that we will study later, but today first we will complete our two topics, waves and tides. So let's begin our today's topic. We will see what are the waves. Students, the waves are the oscillatory movement in water, means a kind of swinging movements. As you know that you have seen the swing, how it is moving. One time it is going that in that another direction, then again it is going to back in the another one direction. So the waves are also same like that. These are the swinging movement or the oscillatory movement in the water. So where the particles moves in a vertical plane, up and down. So the particles are moving up and down, so that is known as a kind of waves. So waves are actually the energy which moves across the ocean surface. As I told you, waves are having a energy and these are moving across to its surface. Okay, so here the vertical motion that refers to tidal waves. So waves are also forming the tides as well, which we are going to study later. So what we can say that I told you that there are two types of movement of the oceanic water, that is the horizontal and the vertical movement. Generally the waves are having the horizontal movement, but sometimes these are forming a vertical movement as well, and that time these are known as the tidal waves. So what we can say, the horizontal motion that refers to the oceanic currents and waves. The vertical movement is known as the tidal waves and the horizontal movement is known as the oceanic waves and the oceanic currents. The waves are generally formed by a kind of energy release. So from where do the waves get their energy? Is there any own energy of wave or they are getting the energy from any other place? So let's see from where the waves are getting its energy. Most of the waves are caused by winds driving against water. So from the waves are getting or receiving its energy from the winds driving. Winds driving energy. So the waves are getting its energy from the wind's driving energy, and then the wind provides energy to the waves, and wind causes waves to travel in the ocean, and the energy is released on shoreline. So here we can say the waves continue to grow larger as they move and absorb energy from the wind. Most of the waves are caused by the wind driving against. When a breeze of 2 knots or less blow over calm water, small ripples form and grow as the wind speed. Then the wind speed increases until white caps, and that appears in the breaking waves. Students, there are few characteristics of the waves through which we can identify the different kind of waves. So let's see what are these characteristics. So students, if we talk about the characteristics of the wave crest and trout. The highest and lowest point of a wave, these are known as the crest and the trout. And if we talk about the wave height, it is the vertical distance from the bottom of a trout to the top of a crest of a wave. The third characteristic of the wave is the wave period. The wave period is merely the time interval between successive wave crest or trout as they pass a fixed point. The fourth characteristic of the wave is the wave amplitude. Wave amplitude is 1/2 of the wave height. Another one characteristic is the wavelength. Wavelength is the horizontal distance between two successive crests or trouts. Now let's see what is the wave speed. Wave speed is the rate at which the wave moves through the water and is measured in the knot. Now what is the wave frequency? Wave frequency is the number of waves passing a given point during a 1 second interval. So students, if we want to determine the velocity of a wave, so how it can be determined? So here is a formula through which we can determine the velocity of a wave, and that is the velocity of wave, which sign is V, is equal to wavelength L upon wave period T. So through which we can determine the velocity of wave. Students, after seeing the waves and its characteristics, now we will move towards our next topic, that is the tides. So what are the tides? Generally from childhood we know, in the basic language we can say the tides are the rhythmic rise and fall of the sea, which is known as the tide. So rhythmic rise and fall, or this rise and fall is known as the vertical movement as well as the horizontal movement of the tides. So the rhythmic rise and fall of the waves or the water in the ocean is known as the tide. And due to the gravitational force, it is occurring. Means the tides are generally occurring due to the gravitational force. So how the tides are forming due to the gravitational force? Now let's see about the formation of the tides with the help of few pictures. Now let's see how the tides are forming. So generally here you have seen the three types of conditions of the tidal bulks or forming of tides. So here you can see one is the gravitational force, second is the centrifugal force, and the third is the two resultant tidal bulks. So what is the first condition? In the first condition, the gravitational force is there, due to which the tidal bulks are attracting to the side of moon. In the second one, the centrifugal force is there, in which due to the centrifugal force, in which the center balance and the gravity is maintaining, due to which the tidal bulks are just moving to opposite side of the moon due to the centrifugal force. And in the third condition, because the gravitational force and the centrifugal force both are there, so due to which the two resultant tidal bulks are there, these are attracting to the moon side as well as the opposite side of the moon. So what we can say here? Here we can say there are generally three reasons behind the cause of the tides. The first reason is the moon's gravitational pull. Second is the sun gravitational pull. And the third reason is the centrifugal force, which is the force that acts to the counterbalance and the gravity. You can note down the three reasons behind the cause of tides, and these three reasons are the moon gravitational force, number 2 the sun gravitational force, and number 3 is the centrifugal force. Together, the gravitational pull and the centrifugal force are responsible for the creating the two major tidal bulks on the earth, which right now you have seen in the picture. Students, types are always not same. These also can be categorized into different types. So what are the types of the tides? The tides can be categorized into various types, which is based on their frequency in a day on 24 hours and based on their heights. So if we talk about the tides based on their frequency, so these are generally divided into three types, that is the semidiurnal tides, the diurnal tides and the mixed tides. If we talk about the tides based on its height, these are known as the spring tide and neap tide. Also we can say the high tides and the low tides. So now let's see what is the different type of the tides. So students, as already I told you, the types can be classified on the basis of frequency as the semidiurnal tides, diurnal tides and the mixed tide. So let's see what are these, the semidiurnal types. The most common tides pattern featuring two high tides and two low tides each day, these are known as the semidiurnal tides. The diurnal tides, there is only one high tide and one low tide during each day. The successive high tides and low tides are approximately of the same height. And what about the mixed tide? The tides having variation in the heights are known as the mixed tide. And if we talk about on the basis of height, then tide can be classified as under spring tides and the neap tide. So what are the spring tides? Tides of certain periods of time are unusually lower or higher than normal height. When sun, moon and the earth are in a straight line, the tidal range will be high. These are called the spring tides or the high tides. The neap tides. When the moon is at first and the last quarter, the sun and the moon make a right angle to the earth. The attraction of the sun and the moon tends to balance each other, and as a result, tides with lowest amplitude occur, which are termed as neap tides or the low tides. Students, here we have seen the types of different kinds of tides. Students, tides are not only a natural occurrence, but these are also a helpful occurrence for the human beings, as the tides can be helpful for the navigation to the fishermen, and also these are helpful for the fisheries, and now these are helpful to generate the energy for the electricity. So now let's see what are the benefits and the importance of these tides. So students, if we talk about the importance of the tides, that tides help the navigators and the fishermen, and these are also helpful for many important things like tidal heights are very important, especially harbors near rivers and with estuaries having shallow bars. Tides are also helpful in the desilting the sediments and also in removing the polluted water from the river estuaries. And tides are used to generate electrical power. A 3 MV tidal power project at Durgadon in Sundarban of West Bengal is underway. Some other advantages of the tides are the tides keep the coast clear of all the waste and refuse of ports. Tide keeps the water in motion and so ocean water does not freeze. It also helps some of the rivers in making navigable such as St. Lawrence, Hooghly and Hudson. Tidal force may be used as a source of electricity such as in France and Japan. If we talk about more about the tides bring many big ships to reach the ports located in the shallow water. At high tides, ships can enter the harbors such as Kolkata and London. Students, here you have seen the advantages of the tide. Here in this today's video, we have studied about the waves and tides. One more movement of oceanic water is known as the oceanic current, about which we will study in our next part of this video. So for that, keep watching SST June.